Hello, this is Carolyn Bupert with the League of Women Voters of Portland. We're here with our video voters guide, and you're either listening to it or watching it on YouTube or listening to it in a podcast. And we're here today to talk with a candidate who is running in the May 16th, 2023 special district election. We're grateful for the support of the Carol and Velma Sailing Foundation, the Weiss Foundation, the League of Women Voters Education Fund, and our media partner, Metro East Community Media. With me today is Albert Kaufman, who is running for Multnomah County Commissioner, District 3. Welcome, Mr. Kaufman.
Thank you very much.
Please tell us a little about yourself and why you're running for this office.
Great, I'd be glad to. Thank you, Carolyn, and thank you to the League of Women Voters for both interviewing me today as well as the forum that happened recently. I have been a community activist and organizer in communities in the Pacific Northwest for the last 27 years. I moved to this region mostly because of the beauty, the natural beauty, but also for the political progressiveness that I feel this region has in spades. And I decided in January, when I learned about this office, that I would go ahead and run for it. I find that it has been a really thrilling experience, and I'm really glad that I did run. I'm a musician, I'm Jewish, I'm a renter, and I think that there's a lot that someone of my age and background has to offer our community in terms of representation. I've lived in the neighborhood of Richmond for the last 8 years and been part of our neighborhood council. I'm now part of the Southeast Uplift Board. And I basically wander the streets of this neighborhood and have been for the last 8 years, making friends and figuring out what needs to improve to make this neighborhood more livable and more of a community. And I have found that using the tools of my trade, I've been a marketing expert for the last 15 years, and I've found that using the online digital marketing tools that I've been teaching people how to use, mixed with before that, my job was as a software tester. And so I would find the problems in software and try to report them to developers so that things would be fixed. And when I combine those two skills, I have been able to make some changes in the neighborhood where I live. And when I say neighborhood where I live, I'm talking really about the city of Portland and beyond. I've also been a lobbyist for a variety of issues over the years, traveling to Washington, D.C. to lobby for more funding for international family planning, for instance. And so combining lobbying with the activism that I do in the neighborhood has allowed me to really affect some change here. And one issue that I've been really working hard on, and that people who are listening or watching this video can participate in, is getting rid of gas-powered lawn tools. This is one example of something where if you pick a thread and you work to really bring it home for the neighbors, you can affect some change. And I have been successfully doing that for all the time that I've been living here.
Thank you. What skills and interests and experience qualify you for this position?
Well, I am a team player, and I am also a collaborator. And I think that that is one of the issues that is really challenging our region right now. It's challenging our world. It's much more difficult to get things done in our region, in our neighborhoods, when people aren't working together. And we're seeing that at all levels of government right now. We're seeing that where the county and the city could be working more closely together to solve some of the major issues that are troubling us. I think it actually goes even beyond that. I think when different agencies are not working closely together, they miss opportunities. And I think right now, given the level of challenge that our community is facing, I think that our city and county should actually be working together to reach out, possibly at the federal level, and bringing in some and bringing in some expertise to solve some of the problems that we have. I just noticed today, I read an article where REI is planning to close the only store that they have in the region. And I think this affects everyone who lives here. Walmart closing is one thing, but when REI closes, I think there's a lot of people who surround me in my neighborhood who shop there and who are really going to miss that store a lot. And I think that's just an indicator that we are in a situation right now that demands further expertise that we may not have here. I also want to say that part of the work that I've been doing as an ideation company is thinking big. And some of my big thoughts are, and not everyone's going to like this, but I think given the housing situation that we are in right now, we should seriously be considering shutting down Airbnb for the time being until things let up in the housing area. Another big idea that I've had is possibly using the Walmarts that are closing and possibly using the REI store that's closing as places where we can shelter large numbers of people. This is the kind of thinking that also, given the new bridge that we're talking about building, where you have to bring in everybody, you have to have everybody at the table talking about the solution. Because one of the things that happens also is when parts of government work on their own and don't combine forces with the other government agencies, Metro, Clackamas County, Washington County, when we don't work together, one agency can do something, and then it turns out that when the ship deck is changed and there's new players involved, everything has to start over again. And that's something that I think will be lessened by people working together. That's something that I bring to the table, is an ability and an interest and a willingness to collaborate with other jurisdictions besides the county. I also want to mention something that, there's two things that come to mind that I'd really like to share. One is that our district is a very wide one. We have lots of retirees here. We have lots of children, and we have everything in between. I want to be a representative who represents everyone who lives here. And I recognize that we have some difficult problems ahead of us, but we also have just the enjoyment of life. And there's a lot of that can also be expressed by someone who's working at the county level. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you. You've been listening to the League of Women Voters Guide, and we're here with Albert Kaufman, who's running for Multnomah County Commission, District 3. This concludes this video voters guide. And I want to just say that if you're listening to this, you're doing your job as a citizen by becoming an informed voter. Election day is May 16th. This is Carolyn Bupert for the League of Women Voters of Portland. Thank you.